Welcome to my class. In this class, we are going to talk about green computing. Basically, how we can avoid negative impact of computers on our environment. Green computing is the environmentally responsible and eco-friendly use of computers and their resources. In other words, it is the study and practice of establishing the use of computers and its resources in more efficient and environment friendly and responsible way. In broader terms, green computing is also defined as the study of designing, manufacturing or engineering, using and disposing of computing devices in a way that reduce their environmental impact. In simple words, when we design our products, we must design in such a way it has no negative impact on the environment. When we manufacture it or when we use it or when we dispose of computing devices, it should not have any negative impact on the environment. What is green computing? A way of designing, a way of producing, a way of using, and way of discarding IT products that is sensitive to the environment. How we should design, produce, use, and discard IT products so that the environment does not get polluted. This is the basic crux of green computing. In other words, it is the environmentally friendly use of computers and their resources. What are the examples of green computing? Some of the examples they include switch off all devices that you are not using, purchasing computers or IT products from environmentally committed companies, participate in electronic recycling programs, deploying virtual technologies. For example, we can have video conferencing instead of traveling or making use of papers. Limiting printing, recycling paper and reducing e-waste. We must limit our printings, we must recycle paper and we must reduce our electronic waste. These are some of the examples of green computing. What are the three goals of green computing? The goals of green computing are reduce the use of hazardous materials in the manufacturing of computers, maximize energy efficiency during the product's lifetime, and promote the recyclability or biodegradability of defunct products and factory waste. These are the three goals of green computing. Here you can see that number of IT related products are given to you. We have computers, printers, monitors, scanners, keyboard and so on. Computers have number of components. These components consume lot of natural resources. To manufacture computers, we need raw materials. To operate computers, we need power. To dispose of computers at the end of useful life, we need more natural resources to recycle them. So the green computing starts with the designing of the product, with the manufacturing of the product, with the using of the product, and with the disposing of the product. Green computing starts with the designing, manufacturing, using, disposing of computers in such a way which has no impact or minimum impact on the environment. Based on above 4 points, we draw the main objectives of green computing as to reduce the use of hazardous materials. Second, maximize energy efficiency during the product lifetime and promote the recyclability or biodegradability of obsolete products and factory waste. History of green computing. The term green computing came into existence with the launch of Energy Star program in 1992. Energy Star is a joint program of Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Energy of USA. It aims towards electricity saving and less amount of heat generated by the computers. Widespread use of computers and related IT products has a very bad effect on the environment. The practice of using Energy Star symbol include the implementation of energy efficient electronic components such as CPUs, servers and peripherals, as well as reduce resource consumption and proper disposal of electronic waste. The practice of using Energy Star, it requires that we must implement energy efficient policy. Second, we must reduce resource consumption. And the third one is we must make proper arrangement for the disposal of electronic waste. A number of IT companies and computer manufacturers have taken major initiative to turn towards green computing. These include building computers with more environmentally friendly materials, designing them to consume less energy, providing recycling programs to dispose of old systems. What are the green computing best practices are? Government regulations, however well-intentioned, is only part of an overall green computing philosophy. The work habits of computer users and business houses need to be modified to minimize adverse impact on the global environment. Some of the best practices related to green computing are as follows. First, develop a sustainable green computing plan. In the plan, we must encourage IT community to consider and use best green computing practices and guidelines. The plan must have recommendations for reduction of paper consumption and paper uses. This plan must have recommendation for new efficient equipment and recycling of obsolete machines. This plan must have recommendation for the use of cloud computing so that multiple users share the same computing resources, thus increasing the utilization by making more efficient use of hardware resources. Second, recycle. Dispose of e-waste according to government rules and regulations. Discard unwanted electronic equipment in an environmentally responsible manner as computers emit harmful emissions. Manufacturer must offer safe recycling options when products become unusable. The third one is make environment sound purchase decisions. Purchase those computing devices, the designing or production of which has less harmful impact on environment. It means we must purchase computing devices only from those companies which takes care of the impact on the environment. Purchase those computing devices where manufacturer supports the reduction of negative environmental impact on product and reducing packaging material. The fourth one, reduce paper consumption. Use emails and only electronic archives. No use of paper at any stage. Use of track changes features in electronic document rather than making corrections on paper. While printing documents, make sure to use both sides of paper and selectively print required pages. The fifth point is conserve energy. In order to conserve energy, Make use of liquid crystal display LCD monitors rather than cathode ray tube monitors, CRT monitors. Sixth, develop a thin client strategy. The thin client strategy includes the use of notebook computers rather than desktop computers whenever possible. Second, power management feature to turn off hard drives, CPU, and monitor displays after several minutes of inactivity. The third point, power up and power down laser printers according to need. We must have web conferencing rather than traveling. This is termed as develop a thin client strategy. There are certain disadvantages and challenges of green computing. To have green computing, it appears that it can really be quite expensive. Some green computers may be very low in performance. Moreover, there are rapid technological changes which are taking place. All these poses a big challenge for adoption of green computing. Now, what are the benefits of green computing? The main benefits of green computing are reduce environmental impact, less greenhouse gases emissions, less e-waste, fewer resources needed for manufacturing new devices, lower energy cost, longer lasting computing devices, reduce health risk for recyclers. These are some of the major benefits of green computing. How to achieve green computing? Green computing is about reducing the environmental footprints of computers or of ICT in general, information and communication technology in general. This is the most commonly achieved by making data centers and computing devices more energy efficient, using more renewable energy sources, using less hazardous material in computing devices, promoting device longevity, and making devices and other IT equipments better recyclable. All these propositions will help us to achieve green computing. Green computing summary. Thus, green computing aims to reduce the unwanted and harmful effects of computers on the environment. Though the challenges are many, but with the ever-increasing research in the field of science and technology, we can overcome these hurdles. Through the small steps that each one of us takes towards adopting green computing measures, we can make our environment congenial for healthy growth. Thank you very much.